Podleadum.
All the cycles.
Podcast. Spelled backwards. Pod.
Leap. Dumb. Leap. Dumb.
Pod. Pod.
Leap. Dumb.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Podleadum, aka Top Model Podcast, spelled backwards. My name is Hannah Jane Ginsburg, and I do feel like I can feel and taste what people want to see.
My top choice.
I told you I was taking the easy way out.
It's okay. I'm JDB Crump, and if it doesn't bleed and lead, then it doesn't work.
And I'm Lex Basile Price, and I knew it was a quirky show.
Apologies for the full Jinx Monsoon laugh, because we are here today to discuss Reality Check Inside America's Next Top Model, Episode 2, Still in the Running, which I've retitled to The Girl Who Scrapbooked Her Teeth.
Hannah, let me tell you, I came up with a title for everyone, and it was The Girl Who Scrapbooks Her Teeth.
Ow.
We are so in sync for this episode.
We have to pay homage to my beloved Joni.
And also psychotic.
She took that home improvement job very seriously.
Yeah.
She said making it. Amy Poehler.
On the weekends, she is hanging out with Amy Sedaris. Amy Sedaris would scrapbook her teeth.
She scrapbooks her bunny's teeth, I'm sure.
There you go.
So we're having fun at the top of this episode, because I'll
Mhm.
give a heads up, listeners.
Mhm.
This is the rough one.
This is the most challenging episode of the documentary to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the most challenging thing, it focuses a lot on Shandy and what happens. They do luckily have Shandy here to speak to it herself. And that's kind of the end of the flowers you can give to the show.
Literally, if we're going back to our flower-based economy from last episode, I'm taking away everybody else's flowers and I'm giving them all to Shandy, and we're planting them on her animal sanctuary farm. Like, that's what's happening. She gets all of them. Nothing for anyone else, everything for Shandy.
Yeah, they're pet safe flowers. Like, you have to get pet safe plants.
Yeah. We take it very seriously.
And also, just before we get into the story, I will say captions crunch, chatters in Italian, very funny. Let's talk about it now, y'all. So we streamed a lot of this on Prime, a lot of this on Hulu, and this is the first time any of us watched a Netflix thing. So this is the first time we've ever talked about Netflix captions.
A new flavor of Captions Crunch.
Planting the seed now because it grows into a gorgeous flower in episode 3.
Oh my god.
Whoever does captions for this has never fucking seen Top Model.
I couldn't tell if it was an accident or deliberate. Was it revenge?
Was Tyron like, I don't agree with what you did. I don't.
I'm
agree.
working within the system to take you down.
Oh, it was funny when we were talking about we posted a little preview of like, we're coming back for a reunion to the Discord, and our Discord was very lovely about it. And there started this joke of like, Hulu Twink kept the show alive, but Netflix Twunk brought them back. And I was like, Netflix Twunk is very funny to me.
So in the first episode of this series, Tyra said, I was completely in charge of all production at all times.
My show.
I was in the control room. I was in the chat rooms. I was editing. I learned how to do all these things. I was there for every single thing.
They specifically Tyroned her as executive producer instead of creator, which at the first episode, I was like, that's interesting.
Yep. Because in this episode, she said, I never saw anything, y'all.
Production. I'm not production. Production is different from me.
Fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself.
Everyone in this Ken, Tyra, forever. Fuck yourself forever.
Yeah, it's absolutely awful because, as I'm sure if you haven't seen the documentary, you can assume what we're alluding to is the story that in the show is framed as Shandy cheating on her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the, if not the, after Rooting for You, probably the most talked about moment of the show.
Yes.
Always on the top 10 most outrageous whatever. And when you learn what actually happened, and what was almost going to be shown, which is fucking crazy.
And which production knew at constantly. There was never a moment when production did not know what was happening. Everything was on camera. There was never a moment where they didn't know what was happening.
Not only was it all on camera, Ken Mock, it's not really a documentary if production is inviting over the men.
No. And providing the wine.
Yep. Now, before we get into what happened, I want to point out two things. One, that will be for the rest of the show, which is a very odd choice, and the internet treated in a very weird way.
Mm-hmm.
And one little funny thing, which was they cited what I call the double E Amy bathroom rule, that if there's two people in the bathroom, you can't fail. But I was like, double E Amy, Zakiya Gibbons, I don't believe we ever heard the pronunciation of the name, but I think Zakiya is correct. Zakiya Gibbons is a journalist who is brought in clearly to just be someone to narrate the stuff that they did not get
Yes.
from other people to be able to cobble this together. I think she does a fine job.
Yeah.
What's interesting to me, well, we'll talk about it. She's going to be in so much of it. We'll be able to talk about her planning. But what's interesting to me is when they revealed the models who were going to be in the documentary, multiple sources listed her as one of the models, and multiple sources named her other people that were actually in the show.
Wild. Because she is the only person not associated with the show that they're
In any way, shape, or form.
I also just had a wild realization, y'all. And I think it's because the way they decided to frame the documentary was like, they're the outsiders, they're coming to storm the fashion industry, blah, blah, blah. We don't hear from anyone who was working with an actual publication that also worked with... We don't hear from Anne Choquette.
Nope.
We don't hear from Eric. Like, we don't hear from any of the people
Drew
who
Elliott
are actually
even? Yeah.
big in the fashion world who were a part of this show, who legitimized the show.
Right.
One thing that I think is a big detriment to the documentary in general is that we don't get any of the fourth judges that were big.
Mm-mm.
Janice, Paulina, Twiggy, obviously Andre Leon Talley.
Well, we
would not
get
be
one of
available. Oh, you are correct about that. I guess that was
Why
still
did
during
we get
Janice.
this person?
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I
Yes,
was
I
like,
agree, though. I fully agree.
and I understand that not all of them. I don't know about Twiggy. I understand Janice and Paulina probably do not have any good relationship with the show. Want to leave it in their past. But I was just like, because of that, it also makes the whole show feel a little less like there's a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no progression.
No, we're stuck in the past.
The progression of the show, according to the documentary, is Cycle 1, 2 through 18, and the rest.
Well, and also that, we'll get into it later, but like, that the Jays and Nigel are a chunk,
Mm-hmm.
and then crazy, right?
Yes.
Fire-
And just Tyra.
Yes.
Just Tyra crazy.
When that is not at all how the show ever was.
No, and the way they talk about why the ratings started to fail is wild.
Yeah.
But anyway, I will say one positive thing. It is nice to see grown-up Shandy.
Yes.
She seems really cool. She seems really funny. She seems like somebody I would personally enjoy hanging out with. Like it
Great
is
style, too.
great
I love the
style.
tattoos. Every time you got a peek at a new tattoo, I was like, oh, you're such a dork.
It was nice to see her again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And we get the whole story. We get the because this show sold the dream to Shandy perhaps more than any other. Well, Tiffany. This show sold the dream
Yes.
to Shandy and Tiffany more than anybody else, I would say.
Yes.
And it went pretty well for her. Although, yes, once again, we have to watch the psychic torture her for no reason.
And also hearing about, like, I feel like we only got a glimpse of it, but like hearing more specifically from Shandy about her family life.
Yeah.
And like,
Just how
really
bad and cruel it
this
was.
rough
Oh,
household
gosh.
of, like, she just left at 18 and passed her dad and was like, I'm leaving. And he was like, cool.
Have a nice life.
Like, woof.
Also, the worst part of having to see the psychic stuff again is we had to see Joanna again.
Hey, Joanna has one good moment.
I'm kidding.
No, actually, Joanna, they only show back of head great Joanna.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, we'll talk about this in the next episode probably, but Joanna and several other contestants are waiting like little whack-a-moles to pop up about another competing documentary that's coming out later. So we may yet still see Joanna House.
Oh gosh. So we talk about and show the same clips you saw in the episode, but now it's going to be heavily recontextualized because we actually get Shandy speaking fairly unedited from what I can tell in the documentary about what actually happened the night of the hot tub and the drinking and the Italian men coming over.
Which is that they had been doing go-sees all day. She was tired. She hadn't eaten. Somebody, it seems like from production, says, why don't you invite these boys over and have some drinks? She drinks, she says, about 2 bottles of wine. Obviously cannot consent. Blacks out and is assaulted.
Basically doesn't remember anything post-hot tub.
Yeah.
And, however, apparently all of that was filmed.
When they talk about, to the listeners, I'm going to get emotional during this episode. I think it's hard not to. I will do my best to communicate through it because I'm not ashamed of the feelings, but I don't want it to take away from what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
When Ken Mok congratulates himself for not showing everything, it's actually disgusting.
Yeah.
To take that as a point of pride is insane to me. That's what you're taking away from this instead of saying, oh my God, what did we do to this person? That's your takeaway, is that it could have been so much worse. You don't know what we didn't show. What the fuck is wrong with you?
You didn't show penetration? Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And he disguises it all behind, well, this is a documentary. And I was like, okay, but this is a crime.
Right.
That you could have stopped.
Horrible, disgusting, easy to stop in a lot of ways. There's a ton of people around.
Yep.
There was no reason this rape should have occurred.
Nope.
And that is what it is, because the documentary will not say it.
Nope.
But we are here to say Shandy was raped.
Yep.
And no one did anything about it.
And then it gets even worse. And this is what I'm talking about, what I spoke about in the last episode with Tyra's cruelty. When they set them up to have this fun girls chat, and Tyra happens to bring up cheating and how she doesn't judge, but we need to control our carnal urges.
Oh.
This is Zakaya's best moment when she basically is like, that was disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And Shandy talks about how she wants to speak to her boyfriend. They refuse to give her a phone. She threatens to walk from the show. Suddenly they can find her a phone. And they show this, what has become this moment in their cap or whatever, of her speaking to Eric on the phone. That is one of the most devastating things you'll see on a television show.
Yeah.
And Shandy says that there was one camera person and one sound person. And after the phone call was done, she was just curled up, bawling, devastated. And they came up and apologized for filming. And she gives them the grace that they were like, they said they knew what was happening was not right.
We're sorry we had to film that, they say.
Yeah.
But apparently it goes further. And they also filmed her going to the doctor, which Mr. J seems to think was shown.
Yeah.
I do not remember that.
That might be a result of...
Well, and apparently they they made her call her rapist, filmed her calling her rapist to ask if he had used protection and if he had any STDs. Put it on camera.
And this is one of the worst moments, in my opinion, for Mr. J as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
He seems irritated that he has to talk about this.
Yes, because there's such a dismissive tone to the poor girl. Poor girl. That's what we're going with.
He likes to believe that because he was asleep, I guess, he has no responsibility here.
The one worthy contribution from Mr. J in this section is that when Ken Mok says, well, we didn't show more because of our consciences. And Mr. J says, no, you didn't show more because of FCC regulations and Justin Timberlake.
Yes.
That's his one good moment in this section.
Yeah.
But none of these people will take even the slightest bit of responsibility or express the slightest bit of remorse that this happened to this woman on their watch. Nobody.
We touched on it, but the fact that there was another edit that was too explicit that the network said they wouldn't show, that they had to re-edit, is crazy. What was that? Do you know what I mean? Like, what were they wanting to show? Because Ken Mok all day can be like, well, we didn't.
But you were
did.
gonna.
You were going to at one point.
And what you ended up with was a version of the show that entirely made it look like just tipsy little Shandy was a little too horny and happy.
It was her fault.
And she cheated. We kept using cheating
Cheated, yes.
words.
And I want to speak about this a little bit from a personal point, just for a minute or two, because when the headlines came out about this show and Shandy was featured, it clicked for me before I watched the show. Like, I thought about it for a second and I said, wait a minute, young woman, lot of alcohol. Of course she couldn't give consent. Of course she couldn't. Like, it was obvious to me immediately. And I thought to myself, I don't remember how we talked about this on the podcast. It was such a long time ago. I truly don't remember. So I finished this point in the documentary and I paused it and I went back and listened to what we spoke about. And there were no malicious mistakes made. We accepted the reality that the show presented us with. It makes sense. This is what they say. This is what they are having Shandy say on camera, even though it was obviously not her experience. This is what they're showing us that she says. And I listened back to what we talked about. And like I said, nothing is terrible, but I really, really feel like I need to take some responsibility for what I was saying specifically, because I feel like I have been in that kind of situation before. And it wasn't as extreme as what happened to Shandy, but most women, have been in a situation like that before. And I feel ashamed that I didn't recognize it. And I don't want to make this too much about me, but because it's not that, but it just really makes you realize how deep internalized misogyny sits with all of us, and how when we are presented with this kind of version of things, we don't question it because it's easier and it's more comfortable, and we're very used to that narrative. And it made me take a step and be like, just make sure that when you are presented with realities around this situation, that you take a minute and really think about what happened, and don't think about how it was told to you. Think about what happened and make your conclusions from there. And it is a good and tough reminder, I think.
I think you really hit the nail on the head when you said it. I think it's really easy to not want to talk about it, even when you have those experiences, because it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's not pleasant to have to like think about reality when we are already being shown something, and you can just be like, yeah, great. Because your brain wants that to slide off.
Yeah, you don't want to think that the world works like that. You don't want to watch this show that you love for various reasons, even as you interrogate it, and think, these people who I spend a lot of time with allowed this woman to be assaulted. I don't want to live in a world where that's true. So your brain is going to do that work for you to make it not true.
I also am just she seems like she's in a happy place.
Yes.
I hate that Shandy still has to talk about this.
Yeah.
I'm glad she was able to get her truth out.
Yes, me too. And I think that's ultimately, not knowing, probably why she decided to do this, and I'm glad that it seems like for the most part we got that very unedited, but it affects your life forever.
Yeah. And it made me wish for documentaries to be sort of done in a different way. I wish she didn't have to sit there alone on camera, And like, I thought about that too when they were talking about when we get very shortly to Joni and Danielle. It would have been nice to put them there together.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be alone when you're talking about this experience,
100%. I think that, because also Shandy has to represent all of Cycle 2.
Yep.
Yeah.
On top of everything else.
Yeah. She is totally alone.
Yeah. It's just, and then Tyra, to do the opposite of taking accountability, but also taking credit.
Yeah.
Says, I'm not head of story. I am a master editor. Tyra, what do you think you're saying when you say something like that?
She fixed it, JW. She turned a rape storyline into a cheating storyline. Give her some credit.
Well, and the final word on this for now, at this point in the documentary, the final word we get on this incident is from Ken Mock, who says, for good or bad, it was one of the defining moments of the show. For good or bad? You can't even say it was bad?
This is how, but to not give them credit, right? It might sound like I'm giving them credit, right? But to admit to your own self, like Hannah was kind of talking about, but to admit to your own self as a person who is responsible, that you could have stopped this would in some ways break their brain.
Yeah.
Right? It's that whole thing of like, people don't see themselves as bad people. They see themselves as good people that do bad things.
Yeah.
If they admit that they let a person be raped on camera in rooms filled, because it's not even like, I'm not giving this credit, but it's not even like a show where we just have hidden cameras that is collecting all this info. People were there holding boom mics and camera equipment.
And telling production as it happens. Jay Manuel says they called us at dinner and they said something's happening.
Yeah, she's in the shower with him or whatever.
Right? But like...
And she's technically not alone, so we can film it.
Well, and I wonder, too, if those crew people... And I'm not giving them even credit, right? Because they could have been like, I'm a person and this is a person. Yeah. But they...
Maybe lose your job, you know?
Right.
Maybe lose your job.
Right. But I can understand being like... I don't necessarily think that it was malicious to be like, technically we have to film. Because they're trying maybe to keep their job, but also, yeah, we shouldn't film this. But like the people on camera right now, production, if they admit that they did a vile, immoral thing, what is any of this?
Yeah.
Because once again, the documentary says this was fucked up from the beginning. There was never a time when they were doing normal behavior on the show. Did it get worse? Yeah, but this is cycle 2, baby.
Yeah. But then we get dark-sided Tyra coming out and saying when the Jays were recognized before her.
Right before we get that, can we I would need to finally talk about this fucking Family Guy clip. Get ready for a palate cleanser. I'm gonna throw wasabi all in y'all's ear holes. I hate this Family Guy clip because I don't even hate the joke of Tyra is lizard person who gets so angry that lizard comes out of her. Why on earth is there only one person in front of Tyra?
Yes.
Why is that person white and not even Rebecca Blonde? And also, why is every other contestant also white? How did you make the Family Guy, animators, writers? Why did you think, oh, let's make this also racist? It's wild to me. I have hated this clip forever because I don't even care that they got the speech wrong. People used to complain about this clip because they're like, yeah, but I'm like, they're trying to exaggerate it even more. Right. I get that. But like, I'm just like, no one, it's, you remember how much credit we gave the SNL thing?
I was just gonna say, when you've got the SNL clip right there, why do you keep going back to the Family Guy one?
We were like every detail from the tribal mask on the podiums to whatever, and this one was like, I don't know, probably all 12 contestants were white women.
Tyra basically blames Fear Factor.
She drops into the weirdest speech pattern for about 30 seconds talking about Survivor and Fear Factor.
Yes.
It's a different person. Maybe she's never heard Miss J talk about it. So.
Yeah.
And apparently UPN's Dawn Osterf said, let's make more money and do 2 cycles a year. I did always wonder why they did that.
Just greed. Just the grift.
Yeah. Hey. It was just kind of interesting because it's the reason they called them cycles, basically, at the end of the day.
This is also where we get the clip of Tyra going, well, it was you guys. You were demanding more and more and more, and we had to keep up. And this revisionist history, where the show got less popular the further it strayed from modeling, is crazy. That poor sweet Tyra was a victim of the audience and the network.
Tyra said, no, make it normal. Make it pure. And we said, drown them, Tyra.
I never wanted to create words. That was all for you.
I said, why can't we just say smile with your eyes? No one needs the portmanteau.
We zip past blackface to head into...
Yeah. Somehow pigeons and blackface are equally bad. So wild.
It's because they've got no one there to talk about it, right? They've got no one there to actually be painted a different race. Painted.
You know what I would love to have seen, and I know she's technically a minor character in the world of Top Model, but get Noelle back, because Noelle's the one that they always use as like the face, literally, of this, because she was the one who has the clip of them just painting, like,
But also, you know
house
what?
paint on her.
I'm glad those contestants didn't have to talk about that. They shouldn't have to talk about that.
Sure.
You know what?
Yeah.
They were just victims of the situation.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Paradise Podcast.
I am your host, Ryan Michelle Bethay, with my husband, Sterling.
What's up?
Join us here on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus, where we'll discuss each episode with the cast and crew of Paradise. I'll be getting all the secrets from Dan Fogelman, James Marsden, Shailene Woodley, Julianne Nicholson, and Sterling Kelby Brown. Woo! Paradise, the official podcast, is now streaming.
And stream Paradise on Hulu and Hulu on Disney Plus.
Okay, but I don't want to zip past Lex. I feel like I interrupted you when you were talking about one of my favorite parts, which is the dark-sided Tyra walking down the street and not being recognized. And I'd love for you to take us on the journey.
So they're in New York. The Jays and Tyra are in New York walking down the street, and they're like, oh, look. Some people are like, oh, look, it's Beyonce. And then their friend apparently said, no, those are the Jays.
So it's Tyra.
So it's Tyra. And that apparently broke Tyra so much that is maybe the reason the whole show changes.
That's what they're implying for sure.
Well, I also love that you can tell this happened word for word because it's the only time, this was the only time I thought the editing was really good in the doc. Jay and Miss J are telling the same story and they have the same exact memory. So we get to buoy back and forth between them. I'm like, oh, this happened. This is a word for word retelling.
There's also this thing from Mr. J where he's like, our relationship just changed and I don't know why. And I'm like, everything you said about this relationship makes it seem like it was like this the entire time. And you always knew it. And you always felt like you were on eggshells. And you never thought that this was an equal relationship.
No.
Like the way you talk about her makes it feel like she was very volatile from the beginning.
We're scared of her.
Like when he talks about like, oh, I got in there to defend her honor against Janice.
Lord. And they do everything they can to show like Tyra being mad at Janice and slowly looking at her and being like, it's like okay. Everyone know, if you're listening, you can mark off a square on your bingo card because 180 countries.
Our little American show.
But then it finally happened. Tyra sort of got Heidi Klum on America's Next Top Model. Also, what's the country that at the finale they do a smoke bomb? Did y'all see that?
Like, I don't care about any of that, JW, because we are presenting to Priest Brescia as a real human being.
Oh my gosh. When they act like that was real. Oh, put some respect on Dupree's name. Come on.
I forgot. They showed Jeff Lorch. I was like, who's Jeff Lorch? And then my brain.
Jeff Lorch, a guy that my husband knows.
Oh my gosh, your husband is 1 degree away from Dupree's Brescia. That's who should have been in the documentary.
Oh my god.
So we come across, now it's time to talk about Tooth-ageddon, where we learn that Joni had to sign a second NDA.
Couldn't talk to her mom first.
Nor a lawyer.
And she still has mouth problems from it.
They didn't actually fix anything.
It was all cosmetic.
Yep.
Apparently. So we get by the way, if sometimes it sounds like we're jumping around, just also know that listeners, if you haven't seen the documentary, sometimes the models get a full intro, sit down, makeup, Shannon's T-zone, etc. Sometimes it's just, oh, Joni's here. Remember Whitney? And you're just like, oh, what?
In a way that makes you feel like they've been sitting there for a while.
And also, the one thing I'll say, I'm sure Hannah has more to say about Joni. How could you not?
Oh, I always have more to say about Joni.
I kind of love how Joni comes across in this because Joni, wherever she is in her life, is like, yeah, a lot of stuff was messed up. I also did it. And I kind of like the attitude.
That was kind of Joni's attitude even at the time. Remember when she was like, I stripped. Oh.
There are a lot of contestants commenting on the show now where the attitude is very much like, I did it. It was a weird thing I did. For me, it was mostly fine. I also recognize that I'm ignoring a lot of trauma, and a lot of people had it worse than I did. I'm happy they're talking about it.
Yeah, the star for me is really Danielle, because basically being like, Tyra's like, well, I apologize to Danny. And then we cut to Danielle being like, bull fucking shit.
Danielle is here to do queen shit.
Yeah.
And nothing else. Looks stunning. More beautiful now than she was then. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous human being.
I'm also going to say in general, in case I don't individually say it about each model, I think everyone looks great.
They all look fucking amazing.
Everyone looks great. And also, I'll say a lot of them, I feel like, I hope this comes across the right way. I think everyone feels like they're in a body that they're meant to be in.
Yes. You have seen how they've grown into themselves and like a sense of style and personality. It's like, it is very cool. The one cool thing is that we saw all of these people when they were like so young and unformed and they didn't know anything and they were like trying shit out on reality TV. And to see who they have become now, I think is very moving.
It's also, you forget how, I think we always forgot how young people were on the show, except for Aaron, obviously.
Yeah.
And
Sweet Jessica.
Yeah. But to see current Danielle juxtaposed with the clip of Danielle on the show at the time, you're like, you were a child.
Yeah.
You were a teen.
Yeah. The only person that I think doesn't look good, and it has nothing to do with them, but the glam team that the production hired to deal with them, they put too much eyeshadow on Giselle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not Giselle's fault.
No.
She just, once again, gets the short end of the stick, apparently, because it's Giselle.
I love so in true documentary style, and I always hate this, every single model contestant and a lot of the judges get these like, I'm on the rooftop.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Looking out. Has there ever been someone who's looked out a warehouse window quite like me?
Oh, is that Rain?
But again, they'll sometimes use it where they're talking about something super normal. And I'm like, I don't think they're sad about this thing they're talking about right now.
Can't believe Tyra made the choice to smile when talking about this topic. Insanity.
This is so... I think Tyra's not taking accountability. I think more so on the tooth thing. She's like, and I did it and I was right.
Yes.
There's this moment that I forgot about with Danny where they're bullying her at judging. And Tyra goes, you think you can be a cover girl supermodel with a gap in your teeth like that? And Danny responds, heartbreakingly, yeah, why not? And that was supposed to be your whole fucking show, babe.
No.
That was what you said. That's what you've been saying. You spent the whole first episode saying that.
We're breaking down beauty barriers. Are you? The only thing in this documentary that Ken Mock will take responsibility for is maybe we shouldn't have had that murder photo shoot knowing that Dion's mom was shot.
That was the one.
That's the one?
When they did it they did that exact same thing in different guises to so many different contestants.
I'll also say this. Actually, there's a couple of things, but I want to very quickly say, I think Dion is the only person who the documentary doesn't treat that well.
I agree.
I think she gets trucked out to talk about this, and they're like, thanks.
Yeah.
She looks so gorgeous.
Oh my God.
So gorgeous.
When she's outside in that black and white coat.
The number one covetable piece of clothing from this episode.
A couple of quick funny things that just, again, because the documentary just shows stuff sometimes. Mm-hmm. They show, of course, poor Alexandra being clipped off the runway by that pendulum because she'll never escape that moment. And it shows Whoopi Goldberg cackling at it on The View. And I was like, what? Apparently that's the most talked about moment in top model history is that pendulum runway. And then also, there's a moment where we get those really unceremonious intros to Whitney and Joni. And Whitney, for 5 seconds, talks about the meat photo shoot. And Whitney was a vegan. And apparently then...
That's the crazy part.
Insane.
Never brought up. Which, I'm sorry. we're about to talk about like weight stuff
Mhm.
and plus size curve, whatever word they want to use at the time. I think that would have been an interesting thing to discuss while on the show.
Mhm.
But
Because
she's
I
back,
think-
so we don't have another storyline.
But that's the thing, is that I think because the show is always so close, was always so close to an interesting idea, because for them to say like she's not a size 2, but she is a vegan, that's a very, like, we think of that as a very healthy way to
Right.
eat.
Mhm.
That would have been so interesting to know. But again, that's not going to do the narrative of like,
I thought it was interesting that Nigel said he was against Danielle's gap getting closed.
Yeah,
He does at least say that that was bad and wrong specifically.
he does.
guys.
He does.
It's a slow burn for Nigel, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just never just nobody. It feels very on the advice of my lawyer. I will not say sorry. But like Tyra's response is, "Well, I already apologized for that." Not to Danielle.
Nope.
I
No,
already
no,
apologized.
clearly not.
She says, "I already apologized for the issue with Danielle." To whom did you apologize exactly?
Not Danielle.
And then Tyra says that she was, quote, between a rock and a hard place. And I was like, you're in charge.
No, JW, the agents, the evil agents who demanded.
And us, we must.
The priest said it.
But I also wrote my worst joke where I said, well, you were technically between a little rock and a hard place. Because have we ever heard a city from a contestant more
No.
than Little Rock, Arkansas? I was like, I don't remember that.
The next trauma we swing to is Kenya on the show. Just Kenya. Whole story. Top to bottom.
Poor Keita basically has to be her own producer and say, "Oh, you thought that was bad? Well, look what happens next."
I put on my necktie of truth.
No, she looks so
Oh,
gorgeous.
and like I live for the way Kenya expresses things because she's gonna do all this. I literally wrote, "Hell yeah, Kenya!"
So did I. Hell yeah, Kenya.
Got you dead. I love that Kenya's like kind of got that Joni vibe where she's like, I can acknowledge that all of this was bad, but also it's also stupid, right, guys? Like,
Yeah, these are two people who definitively know that they are cooler than this show.
yes.
I can't believe London gets such a stray shot. In,
Why do we get the
What to do?
Why do we get the Spark Notes on London's storyline?
because London's Kenya, JW. She's just Kenya.
See, we had Kenya's Cycle 11 style. But they literally show
Everything.
single clip. I'm shocked they didn't show the hard zoom in on the shorts.
What they don't discuss is the very obvious use of ADR in the clips that they have pulled for their own documentary. Because there are so many times when whatever was being said to Kenya was way harsher, obviously, than what we're hearing.
Also, speaking of post-production, I can't believe, apparently, there's one thing they couldn't afford, and that's that elephant sound. Because we show so many clips of Joni's tooth and Kenya elephant, and they don't do one elephant sound. I'm sorry, top model. That's the choice you want to retcon?
And this is the part of the documentary, because this is where we're talking about our weird relationship with plus size curve models, blah, 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 that Whitney reveals that when she was cast on the show, she was 5'10" and weighed 115 pounds.
That's so tiny.
Plus size?
I could not get over that. I'll say, I know Whitney's not beloved by us nor the fandom as a whole. I thought she came across pretty good. I've also seen a bunch of clips of TikTok from her where I think Whitney has finally grown into what I was hoping she would.
Yeah.
She's also commented, apparently she was really good friends with Anya afterwards.
I saw it on social media again. She's like, "Oh, my sweet beloved Anya, I miss her so much." Like,
Yeah, when we got out of the industry, we just don't talk anymore, but we were doing it together.
yeah, I think
like,
they lived
Whitney.
together for like a year. I think they were roommates for a year.
What a
like,
wild, odd couple that is. That apartment must have been.
That's the real world reality show I want to watch. Also, Brie, who will not get enough screen time.
Nope. Speaking voice has only gotten more beautiful with time.
Oh, and was already such an eloquent, interesting, poetic speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And was only better because I think she sums up almost every single model and their time on the show in this one sentence, which was, "We were all too young to verbalize, I'm scared."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And that really underscores the second sexual assault story that the documentary is less interested in.
Although, I think because they're less interested in it, it actually leads to one of the best moments of the documentary.
Me too. But they're less interested in it because Kenya, again, producing her own storyline, is the only person that has to talk about two things.
Yes.
And we all saw it at the time. We saw her get sexually assaulted in front of a set full of people, try to stand up for herself in a respectful way, and be thrown to the wolves. We saw it all. We saw it all the time. It was very clear on the episode.
Yeah.
Although you don't see on the episode, I felt like there were more shots closer up this time where you see that he really is a half an inch away from fully sexually assaulting her.
Yeah. Also, this is the time, because they've been doing this thing throughout the documentary, which I don't think we've mentioned so far, where sometimes they do a 2-box where they show the person who's being interviewed and a clip from the show. And it was never clear until now if they're watching those in real time or not. And then we find out they absolutely are. Because they're showing Kenya's elimination in the photo moment from that episode. And she goes, "Oh, can we pause that? Look at the photo they chose. I never noticed this before, but it's one where his hands are totally on my legs." So,
and she's kind when she says legs, because he's basically grabbing the butt.
Oh, yeah.
That's a kindness from her, really.
Yeah.
And this is the calling out of like, how dare you say you chose the best photos for the shoot? This was my best photo when I'm being manhandled.
And this is Nigel's worst look in the documentary, I'm going to say, because he says,
that's true.
I don't know. I'm not sure, because there are situations, and she really either had to stand up for herself or figure out this other way. And I'm like, she did stand up for herself. She did the hard thing, and you punished her for it.
Yeah. She
did the hard thing, and you sent her home.
And then Tyra claiming she's never watched the dailies before. Fuck off.
Come on. Tyra's unwillingness to, just say what she was actually responsible for, but also want to take full credit is so annoying. It's just, at the end of the day, it's just annoying.
Yes. And we flew by the blackface because the show flew by the blackface.
I don't want to talk about it again.
No,
just like those pigeons, Hannah.
But
we flew
by it. But it is crazy that the real victim of the blackface, according to the documentary and himself, is apparently Mr. J. Manuel. Because when he sits there and he goes, "You can tell how uncomfortable I am." And then he goes, "Well, I can see I'm really uncomfortable."
And I'm like, that's how you always were every time you were having to explain something.
Yeah, there's this ongoing plot line that they're planting the seed of now, where Mr. J used to be in charge of everything.
Creative.
And I did Italian sunglasses shoot and was the one that won the best ones ever. But also,
I thought of Verona.
No one ever thought of Verona before me.
Mm-mm.
And then later he's like, now I'm just on camera talent. And I'm there and I'm like, I'm handcuffed. Please don't make me say these words to these women. It's like, okay, you can just not do it.
Yeah. Or you could just say, I did it and it was wrong.
Yeah, also true.
Yeah. And as we head out of the episode, we get Walk-Off Girl again for no reason to be like, I was the voice of reason the whole time.
Them recontextualizing this clip is one of the most memed moments in Top Model history. And she's like, "Oh, wow, it wasn't for her." And I'm like, no, that woman was having a breakdown. That's not what this was.
And we close the episode with a weak-ass notice about if you've ever been harmed. And it sends you to wannatalkaboutit.com, which is the Netflix site for any kind of warning that they might have. So it's Netflix branded, and the categories it has is sexual violence and relationship abuse, mental health and well-being, and self-harm and suicide. And this is all brought up in the context of if you have an eating disorder, go to wannatalkaboutit.com. Did I say eating disorder here?
Sure did not. No, you didn't.
So in order to find eating disorder, you actually have to go to self-harm and suicide to then find the eating disorder part of that.
Oh my God.
That feels unnecessarily buried.
Because you want it to be difficult to access the resource.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd want to make that person do a little extra work.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, anyone that's going to the self-harm for eating disorder already knows they have an eating disorder and probably doesn't need to go to wannatalkaboutit.com. So thankfully, listeners, next episode is going to be a lot more fun and stupid.
I think we should leave it this particular episode just, once again, taking away all the flowers from the people who don't deserve any and giving them to Kenya, to Danielle, to Shandy. That they came forward.
Dion needs more
Dion, flowers. All the flowers. Oh my God, that everybody is coming forward and talking about this, and that they've lived with all of these traumas for such a long time. To see them get memed, to live your life and do other things and have it come back into the zeitgeist 20 years later and to have to talk about it again. All of that is wild, and they all handle it with so much grace and intelligence and humor. They're all very distinct individuals. I feel like you get to know them. You get a sense of who they are now because of how they are on the documentary.
Yeah. And if you find us as three distinct human beings, you can find us, rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast.
You're wrong. We're the same.
Hot takes and
hive mind.
Iced tea. You can find me anywhere at Yet Charming.
I am still on Instagram at Hannah Jane Ginsburg.
And I'm on Instagram at JW_Crump.
And be sure to use the hashtag PodLeadum anytime. It's all coming back to me. Anytime you talk about us. So for PodLeadum, I have been Lex Basile Price.
I'll be Hannah Jane Ginsburg.
And I'm JW Crump.
And we'll see you on top.
PodLeadum is not endorsed by America's Next Top Model, Tyra Banks, 10x10 Entertainment, or any of their subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. America's Next Top Model and all names, pictures, and audio clips are registered trademarks and copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders.